several of those guys have told me that with those dogs, you cannot ever let up your guard as the leader. In fact, a few guys who got a little soft.
Okay, so Huberman right now is actually talking about military trained Malinois. And he's saying that you have to assert your dominance towards them because otherwise they will turn on you, they will bite you. I'm here to correct that information. So stay tuned and let's watch. Also, like Andrew Huberman is such a cutie pie. Like those glasses, my goodness, I could eat him up. If he didn't say such stupid things on the internet, I would think he's super attractive.
With them just a tiny bit. Like one anecdote was they decided to invite the dog in to watch a movie with them one night when they're on deployment, or maybe they were training, I don't know. And he let the dog get a little too close to him during the movie. The next day he got bit. And it's like they're constantly trying to move up the hierarchy. He's like, it sucks because you fall in love with these animals, but you have to constantly keep the relationship in its proper place, or they'll not turn on you, but they'll try and take your position.
They don't try. That's the thing with animals. They don't try. They just do.
That's true, Caesar. Let's see how Cesar Millan's dominance theory, his alpha theory, actually works in practice. Let's go back and watch some of the clips that I've seen with him not getting bit in his sessions. Let's see how that goes.
Right? There is no knowledge behind instinct. It's all reaction. So at the moment your energy goes down, bam!
Right, that's him not getting bit right there by a cutie pie little lab. That's also him not getting bit, right? Also not getting bit. Look at all these dogs not going after him right now because he's asserted his dominance. He's a very dominant alpha man, right? Oh my goodness, this is so embarrassing. This clip right here is so embarrassing. Because this this is doing nothing. Like he's got to right now he's bringing the other dog over that they just got in a fight, and watch how like nervous these two dogs are. I mean, it's there is no basis in actual reality at all. This is all just Cesar Millan wanting to look like a cool guy and like he's the alpha. It's really quite pathetic. But I want to get into Cesar Millan today. I want to talk about how problematic he is and why he's problematic. But also, before I start ripping into Cesar Millan, I do want to say a few things about how I think Caesar, his heart is in the right place. His masculinity is the problem. And for a lot of these guys that I see on my TikTok, the dog daddies of the world, I truly do believe that they think that they're doing the right thing and that they think that they are like natural leaders of the world or whatever. Um, Clearly, the proof is in the pudding. The thing is, Caesar, I have actually never been bit in any session I've ever done. So I'm willing to bet that Huberman and Caesar are actually very incorrect about the reasons why dogs bite. It has nothing to do with you asserting your dominance and your alphaness onto you. This clip on the Huberman podcast was deeply disturbing and also shedding light on some of the problems that men in this male loneliness epidemic truly have. Because the two of them, again, despite Huberman being such a cutie pie, really do believe that they are like natural leaders, and that Cesar Millan actually went into talking about not just his relationship to dogs, but his relationship to women. And one of the things he was talking about is that, he had a few failed marriages and he's had some girlfriends, and he kept running into the same problem, which was that, you can't have, as they say, you can't have two leaders in the house. And this has been a thing that people have said for centuries to try to keep women in their place, right? You can't have two leaders, let him lead. The thing that I want to make clear about guys like Cesar Millan, I've dated guys like Cesar Millan and I know how they are. They aren't really they're not doing the leading. What's happening is they can't handle a woman like me. and probably the women that are watching this clip. They can't handle you because they are actually very, very weak human beings. They are very fragile, and they will break at the second that you tell them any kind of knowledge that you might have. And I'm like, I'm not even exaggerating. Like, the second you say, like, maybe you know something about something, they just completely will break. The second you disagree with them, you have an opinion, they completely break because they do not see you as a human. They see you as beneath them. You, as a woman, are also in the hierarchy with the dogs. You, as a woman, I'm going to say that again. You, as a woman, are in the hierarchy with the dogs. Huberman and Cesar Millan spent this whole podcast talking about the hierarchy of their relationships with women and dogs. Sweetie, if I can't convince you that that's not problematic, I don't know I don't know how to help you. That is extremely problematic. But enough about misogyny and guys like Cesar Millan and Dog Daddy. I want to explain to you guys a bit about the alpha theory and how it's been disproven and what it actually is. So, I've talked about this on this channel before. If you already know all this, just skip ahead because you're going to get a little bored. Alpha theory was written by David Mech. David Mech wrote about pack order. He went and studied wolves, I think sometime in like the 1970s, like 1975, right? He went in the woods and he studied wolves and tried to discover a little bit about how pack order is formed. And so at that time, what he thought was that wolves fought for pack order in the same way that like rams do, right? And they lock their horns and fight for dominance. That's what he thought was happening with wolves. Now he went back in the 1990s and disproved his own theory. What he found was that wolves aren't fighting for dominance. So there is a pack order, there is an alpha, but they're not fighting for it. What they're actually doing is they're having puppies, they're having little baby wolves, and they're raising those wolves. And because they're raising those wolves, they become the pack leader. And so any other wolf that's in that area kind of understands that this is Mama Bear and Papa Bear Wolf. Mama Wolf and Papa Wolf, not Papa Bear. You get what I'm saying? And so they join in that pack, but they know, to not test Mama and Papa. You know, they they give them the space to care for their young. So to say that your Malinois is going to attack you because you're not asserting your dominance is ridiculous information. That is, it's so stupid that I have a hard time comprehending how this is even still a thing people are talking about. Now, regardless, there are people. There was there was a study that was done, I think it was like in Arizona. There's a couple of women who actually like raise wolves, not just in Arizona. There's actually a bunch of them. There's people who raise wolves, and so they actually do a similar thing where they raise them as puppies, and they actually will do kind of like things like they'll act out what wolves do to each other, like maybe kind of bite their neck, like literally kind of with their teeth, and like pinch their scruff and things like that. Never have they like used pinch collars or e-collars on on wolves. Never have they done things like as you saw Caesar do, where they like push them down and roll them on their back and say no, and then try to get these two together. They don't do stuff like that. Nobody does. It's just the silly TV people that want everyone to think that they're like, you know, amazing dog guy. I mean, you got to be like really pretentious to call yourself the dog whisperer, by the way. I always thought this guy was super pretentious for calling himself the dog whisperer, but I don't know, people like this guy, and people still ask me about him all the time. And so that's why I wanted to draw attention to this segment today. But I hope you guys got something out of this, because it's extremely problematic. And ladies out there, if you're watching this, do go watch this clip. Please go look up Huberman and Cesar Millan and watch this whole clip, and you will see things about men that you may have not seen before. These guys are weak. These are not alpha. These are not leaders. So if you are in a relationship with a guy like this who thinks that he is the leader of the pack, you should dump him.